What is up, everyone? It is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. And so today is a very exciting video because today we are going to be talking about UC Berkeley waitlist advice and some tips on hopefully how you can get off of your class waitlists. So if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Rachel. I graduated from UC Berkeley in May 2020, where I double majored in cognitive science and legal studies. And now I am currently working full-time at a law firm. And so if you're an incoming UC Berkeley student or a student applying to colleges this cycle, you should definitely check out Study Hall College Consulting. It's a team of myself and other UC Berkeley students where we specialize in reviewing college application essays and consulting one-on-one with students and parents. So definitely check out our website and social medias. On our website, we have a free blog where we post weekly advice, and on our social medias we also post a bunch of college application and college experience tips and tricks. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So I asked you all over on my Instagram stories whether you were able to get into the classes you wanted, and it's pretty 60-40 right now, 60% saying yes and 40% saying no. And then I also asked you all if you had any questions regarding the class waitlist. So definitely, if you're interested in asking questions or being in a future video, definitely check out my Instagram. And so for me personally, I did not really like to be on class waitlist when I was at Berkeley because, like you all are going through right now, it can be very, very stressful, and the uncertainty of it all is a little bit nerve-wracking. And so for me, if I couldn't get into a class or the class I was looking at was full, usually I would just note it down and then maybe I could take it in a different semester and then take a different class this semester. Or if I wasn't really too connected to a class, it was already full or the wait list was super long, then I would just find another class that looked interesting and then I could sign up for that class that fulfilled the same requirement. And so I will have a bunch of Berkeley related and class schedule related videos down below. I have a whole college prep series about like communal bathrooms, what to bring to the dorms, move-in, everything like that. I'll have a bunch of videos linked down below that you should definitely check out after you watch this video. So my first tip for you all would be patient. You know, class scheduling just happened for incoming students, but you still have phase 2 for the continuing students and the adjustment period coming up. So depending on the class, there will probably be a lot of movement in the coming weeks once phase 2 happens, once the adjustment period happens. And so I would definitely say those larger classes, so like the big introductory classes that you're looking at, those will probably have more movement than if you were on a waitlist for a smaller class like the R1As. Those will probably have a lot less movement because people are less likely to drop their R1A because literally every single student needs to take that reading and comprehension requirement, versus like for a math or a chemistry that a lot of students need for many majors, people might drop out of those more often because they realize they don't need that class anymore or they don't actually want to do that major anymore. And especially with AP exam scores coming out, a lot of students may be able to switch classes or skip out of classes once they get those AP scores back, so that will also lead to more movement in the coming weeks. And so the good thing is that class enrollment does get easier. You've gained some experience from this first enrollment, and then you'll have the adjustment period coming up, and then in the fall semester, October, November, then you get to go through this entire process again to pick classes for the spring semester. But I would say class enrollment, it does get easier. Like I mentioned in my other class schedule videos, it does take some practice in order to figure out how to strategize your classes. And I would say once you declare a major and once you start to take more specialized classes, when you do have a major, you usually have a lot more freedom in the classes that you can take. It is a lot easier to find classes and get classes because then not everyone is doing the same exact few classes versus for incoming freshmen, you all are pretty much doing the same few classes in order to declare majors. My next tip on how to circumnavigate some of these waitlists would be to take classes out of order. And so typically for incoming freshmen, you all are taking some variation of the same few classes, which creates a lot of waitlist problems because 6,000, 7,000 students are all trying for the 500 to 1,000 seats in these intro classes because so many different majors need that calculus class, that chemistry class as a prerequisite in order to declare the major. So it's not just math majors taking math, but you have pre-Haas, econ, cog sci. So many different majors are taking math, so that's why those classes get filled so quick. And so with this, taking classes out of order or skipping classes can be helpful. Say if you didn't take your R1A this semester, but then you signed up for an R1A next semester, then there would be a lot less competition because a lot of students do want to take their R1A and R1B in their freshman year. But to complete that requirement, you just need to take these two classes before the end of your sophomore year. So holding off on certain classes like that can get you out of the cycle where everyone is doing the same classes. So then if you waited to take this class later, then there would be less people competing with you for the seats. Like I mentioned with AP exams, if you did take some AP exams and you get those scores back, you could use the score depending on what it is to skip out of the intro classes and then enroll in the higher level classes. So for me, I never took a math 1A or 16A, but I used my AP exam score and I skipped into math 16B. Similarly, I didn't take a R1A, but I skipped into the R1B my freshman fall semester. So skipping out of the very intro classes can be useful because a lot of freshman students, they're starting with R1A, but if you could skip into R1B, maybe there are more seats available in the classes that you would be interested in. So definitely keep an eye out for scores, tests that you can use to jump out of intro classes, but also do be wary, for example, if you could skip out of math 1A or 16A into 1B or 16B. If you personally don't feel comfortable with your math skills, then you shouldn't be skipping out of the 16A or 1A, but stick with those if you don't think that your math skills are strong enough to, for example, skip the intro class. My next tip for getting off of the waitlist is to go to class. I mentioned this in another class schedule video, but for a lot of classes that have large wait lists, what they'll do to try to whittle down the wait list would be that they take attendance for the first few weeks of school in lecture and in discussion section. And basically with taking attendance, say you were enrolled in a class, but you didn't go to class for those first few weeks when they were taking attendance, then they would drop you from the class and then that would open up a spot for a student on the wait list. On the other hand, if you were waitlisted for the class and you didn't go, you would also be dropped from the class in order to shorten the wait list, in order to give students who actually have gone to the class chances to get off of the wait list. So definitely don't miss class these first few weeks. Usually after the first few weeks of school, professors don't really take attendance anymore, but for a lot of discussion sections, they do take attendance throughout the semester as a way to grade you for participation, which could be 5% of your entire grade for the class. You could get off of the wait list any time between now and August, or you may not get off of the wait list until school actually starts, when they start to take attendance in order to make the wait list smaller. So another thing about wait lists, and this is something really big, is that the wait list for Berkeley classes, they actually fill up by the discussion section that you are in, not the lecture. So it's not really like a linear wait list. So say you were number 5 on the wait list and the wait list has 100 people. Someone who was like number 20th on the wait list could actually get enrolled into the class before you at number 5 because of the discussion section that they signed up for. And so with that, you want to find a discussion section that is less popular. So probably like the 8 a.m. bright and early morning times would be less popular, and those discussion section wait lists may be shorter. So like if for your discussion you were number 5 but another 8 a.m. discussion, there was only one person on the wait list and someone dropped from that 8 a.m. discussion, that one person on the wait list for the 8 a.m. discussion would make it into the class over you because you picked a more popular discussion section time. You have to get into a discussion section in order to be enrolled for the class. So this screenshot is directly from the Berkeley website. I'll have it linked down below if you wanted to read it, but basically reiterating what I was just talking about, how the wait list isn't really linear because it says the system will skip to the next student for these reasons, reserved seating. The discussion section you're waitlisted for has no open seats. You have a hold on registration, or there's a time conflict. And to re-emphasize this point on this site, it also says you will only be enrolled in the discussion section that has an open seat. For example, if you see discussion 101 has 20 seats and 20 students enrolled, you might want to select discussion 102 with 20 seats and only 18 students. This would give you the best chance of actually getting enrolled into the class. So my next tip is to periodically check CalCentral for the classes you are waitlisted for, because sometimes for those large classes they may randomly open new discussion sections. There's no notification or anything like that. So if you keep checking CalCentral, then you are more likely to see one of these discussion sections open up. Then you can switch out of your waitlisted discussion section into the brand new discussion section, barring any kind of time conflicts or anything like that. But also check CalCentral periodically to see what the movement looks like in the classes you are waitlisted for. So if you keep checking, then you're more likely to see maybe for a discussion section someone dropped and there were 0 people on that waitlist, so there's actually an open seat in the class. Then you can switch out of your waitlisted discussion into the section that has a seat available, which would allow you to enroll in the class fully. And so with this, you also want to be careful because CalCentral, you all probably experienced it when you were enrolling for classes, but sometimes there can be like weird errors or glitches where the class says it has open seats, but then you go to enroll and then it says you're waitlisted for the class. For this, I would definitely wait to start like messing with your schedule until phase 2 happens for the continuing students, which that's happening soon. Check CalCentral periodically. Don't go overboard and totally stress yourself out and only sit at the computer all day refreshing CalCentral. My next tip would be, if you are waitlisted for a lot of classes, if you're worried about falling below that 13 unit minimum that you need to be considered a full-time student, would be to use that 17.5 unit cap and the adjustment period to sign up for backup classes and just have them in your schedule just in case. For backup classes, if you were waitlisted for like a major requirement or a breath class, say it's for a breath class, you find a backup class that fulfills the exact same breath requirement. So if it's the physical science breath requirement, you're waitlisted for a class, find another physical science breath requirement that you're interested in that maybe isn't full yet, and sign up for that class right now if you have the space, or during the adjustment period if you don't don't have the space right now. So at least that way, if you didn't get into your first choice class that you're waitlisted for, then at least you have that other class that you're enrolled in, so then you won't fall below the 13 units and you can still get that breath class out of the way. Another thing that you could do, say you really wanted that one specific breath class, mark it down, and then next semester you can try to sign up for it, and then this semester you just pick some other class that fulfills some other requirement. And so enrolling in those backup classes is very useful. And then say you did get off of the wait list for your primary class, the one you really wanted, then later you can just drop from this other backup class, or vice versa. If you didn't get into your first waitlisted class, then you just stick with that backup class you signed up for. So personally, I always think it's better to be safe than sorry, so signing up for these extra classes could be a great way to prevent yourself getting messed up in the future if your waitlisted classes don't work out. And so finally, my last tip for the Berkeley waitlist would be this app called Coursicole. And so personally, I have never used this app, so I can't really give my personal opinion, but a friend used this app a lot in order to track classes. Basically, Coursicole, you can go in there, select Berkeley, they have a bunch of other colleges in there, and then find the classes that you are signed up for or waitlisted for, and then on Coursicole, you can actually track the class, and it will give you pop-up notifications on your phone if there's movement in the class. And so my senior year, I heard of this app because there's a popular psychology class on sleep that me and my friends, we wanted to sign up for, but alas, it was full already. And so, you know, for me, I didn't really want to be on the wait list. I just found another class to sign up for instead that fulfilled the same requirement. And then it was like the first week or second week of school, she has the Coursicole app and she's tracking that sleep class because she still wanted to get into it. And then she got the text notification that a seat opened up and she was actually able to enroll in that class and get that open seat. But like I said, I have never used this app, so like not sponsored or anything, but I thought it could be a good resource for you all if you wanted to check it out. It is free if you wanted to track one class, but it is like $5 a semester if you wanted unlimited class tracking, or you can invite 3 friends to use the app and then you can get unlimited class tracking for free. But yeah, those are some of my general tips on the Berkeley waitlist, what you can do if you're waitlisted for a class. So definitely, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. If you had any other videos that you wanted to see me do, also leave a comment. As always, thank you all so much for watching. It really means a lot. Good luck to all of you enrolling in classes and hopefully getting off of the class wait lists. Be patient, stick it out, don't be too stressed about it, and yeah, I will see you all in my next video. Bye!